Good morning, dogs. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 558 of the Two Dum Yinzers. I want to say to everybody, welcome back.
Whoa.
Hope everybody had a great weekend. A lot of sports to talk about over the weekend. Went down over the weekend. How you doing today, Mike?
Doing all right. Doing all right. I'm ready to go.
A couple things before we dive into it. I was just reading that Surrey Cruz, the daughter of Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, she's going to be going to Carnegie Mellon University. That's
I
something.
saw, I saw that.
Why Carnegie Mellon University? You know what I mean?
It's a for like God, it's a prestigious school for what they're known for. I forget they are known for. Hold on. Uh, I know it's prestigious. I know you got to be really smart to get in.
I've known people that have gone to Carnegie Mellon. How smart can you have to be?
I don't know. I know people that went there too, and they were like, "Oh my God!" They're like, "You're smart. You've gone there." So
Hmm.
like a tech school.
Hmm. That's just
Yeah,
weird. I mean,
yeah.
Tom Cruise could put his daughter anywhere.
The acceptance rate's only 11%, so it's rather selective.
You see what I'm saying? Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes,
Yeah.
Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh. I mean, that's
Hey,
weird. That's weird.
hey,
That's weird to me.
it's weird, but hey, they only accept 11% of applicants, so it's very selective.
Also, another thing that I did see, the Mike Tyson and Paul fight has got
Hmm.
rescheduled for November 15th. So don't be too discouraged. Of course, they did delay it a little bit because Mike Tyson did have uh, some physical issues that he was dealing with. But that fight is rescheduled for November 15th. So I'm super pumped about that. I want to see that Paul get his head knocked off.
Oh, me too. I think everyone wants to see that.
But besides for that, man, there's a lot of Pittsburgh sports that went on this weekend. Just a lot of sports in general we have to go over. So let's get the show started, man.
Let's do it.
Uh, Set up here real quick. Yeah, we got three games over the weekend to talk about. There's a lot to talk about in these three Pirate games that went down over the weekend. Also, there was a UFL championship weekend. There was also the Pittsburgh Passion Girls in a huge game.
Huge.
The Riverhounds were back in action. A lot of stuff, Mike. A lot of stuff. Don't stop me. Don't even try to stop me. Here we
I'm not
go.
going to stop you, man. You
All
just
right.
go. You do
All
your
right.
thing.
So it started on Friday with this team. I do want to say good afternoon, John. John said on the board, he said, "Hey guys, thought while shaving, Mahomes is following the Brady model, taking pay cuts. I referenced the Yankees last week. KC is still using money as a weapon against the league."
Yep. That's
Yeah,
the way to do it. His contract, my God, when he first signed it, you're like, oh, it's going to be a bloated contract. Now it's turned out to be a bargain the way the rest of the league's going. When you
yeah.
get quarter or like wide receivers making close to what Mahomes is making, you're doing all right down in KC.
Let's get to this baseball talk so we can get to football. That's where my heart is. Well, let's
Yeah.
get through this. I do got some stuff I do want to talk about on the Steeler team. Guys, a lot of stuff that went down over the weekend with this Pirates team. They played a very beatable Minnesota Twins team, and beatable was what they did. They jumped up 2-0 in the series, two shutouts. At that point, they had three shutouts in the last five games. So after the game on Saturday night, their five games prior, three of them the Pirates had shut the teams out that they played. One of them being the Dodgers, and two of them being the Minnesota Twins. Here's an interesting tidbit, Mike. I do want to throw out there before we get too far into the Twin series. The Bucks are the only team
Mm-hmm.
in the NL, the National League, with a winning record versus the LA Dodgers
Yep.
since 2022. They are
That's
11
wild.
and 6 against the Dodgers. I'm going to say this one more time. The Pittsburgh Pirates are 11 and 6 against the Dodgers since 2022, and they are the only National League team that has a winning percentage against the Dodgers in that period of time. Is that mind blowing?
That is mind blowing. For everyone, you want to talk about the payroll disparity, but just the talent disparity. But they should be beating us handedly, but yet we find a way. I love it.
Well,
It's nice to have a Pittsburgh team be that team that's a thorn in the side of a major organization. Normally, Steelers and Penguins, we have those teams that like we should beat and they beat us. It's nice we have one, and it's the Pirates, and we beat up on the Dodgers.
And we called this. I told you before the Dodgers series started. I said the Dodgers are going to lose this series. The Pirates are going to win it. They've come off a bad series. They've been taking bad L's all season. And I said that. I was like, you watch, they are going to be the team that beats this Dodgers team. And they did. They do it every year. And of course, all the way back to 2022, we know that that's the facts because, again, I
Yeah.
just gave you numbers. And let's go back, Mike. I do want to start a little bit early. The Bucks and Twins in the first game of the series was a 3-0 win. Second game was a 4-0 win. And yesterday, I got to be honest with you, something screwed up happened during the course of the game that really cost the Pirates. And it's just not a homer saying, you know what, if this wasn't what happened, you know, we would have won. This whole actually holds weight. So I do want to get into this a little bit. I want to talk about Rowdy Tellez. Mike, we got some things going on here in the pitching. Now, you know, my two complaints. My main two complaints about this Pirates team. What are they? Relievers
Yep.
and Rowdy Tellez.
Yep.
I said if the relievers and Rowdy Tellez could fix their situation, we wouldn't even have to make any moves. I think we're going to be okay. Well, listen to what happened over the weekend. In the middle game, it was one of these bullpen games where they started Majinski and played him for an inning and an inning and 2/3. Then they brought in I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he came in. It was all bullpen. Every single person that pitched game 2 of this series was all bullpen. Okay, let me see. I might have their names here.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the box score now because I forgot to.
Majinski, okay, Ortiz, Brill, Stratton, Holderman, Bednar. Six bullpen pitchers.
Yep.
Through that game, and they won that game by shutout fashion.
Yeah.
They win 4-0. And in that same game, Rowdy Tellez goes 2 for 4, 2 runs, 3 RBIs, a home run. And that's just the beginning with him. I got so much more on him I got to get to.
Oh yeah.
At this point, I mean, the two things that I dislike most about this team and the two things that I need to think that needs to be changed in order to get better. Again, this bullpen came out and they pitched all game. There was not a single starter that pitched on Saturday. Again, Majinski, Luis Ortiz, Brohl, Stratton, Holderman, Bednar, and they managed to shut out. They shut him out. It was a shutout. Tellez with the same. We only needed his home run. So between Tellez and these relievers, Mike, they go out there and win a game in convincing fashion. And as I always say, you know, this is just you know, you fix a couple of these things, they're going to be okay. And those two things are the two things that went out and won the game. Let me give you a little bit more Rowdy Tellez scoop. He has 4 multi-hit games in the past 5 games. And in the Twins series, he went 4 for 7, 3 runs, 3 RBIs, 1 walk, 1 homer. And in June, he has gone 9 for 17, batting .529, 4 extra base hits, 7 RBIs, and a home run. Why would you know, if this dude picks up his shit like he's doing right now, I see no reason to getting rid of him, but he has to somewhat resemble a consistent baseball player. And I'm not saying that he's got to be consistent from now until the end of October. That's not the case. He just has to resemble a consistent baseball player and do something every so often, opposed to what's been going on with Rowdy Tellez up to this point. But if he's starting to heat up like this team is seeming to start to heat up here in early to mid-June, I see no problem with Rowdy Tellez. He's the guy that I was hoping that he was going to be.
Yeah, and because you hate to compare players that are here now, and then the ones that left, but he is replacing Carlos Santana. And they only saved like $2 million by from that trade and then signing Santana. And Santana has like 9 home runs, better batting average, better on base percentage, better everything. But like you just said, he's starting to heat up. Now, is this him heating up, or is this a blind squirrel finding a nut? You hope it's him rounding into form, kind of being the player that you thought the Buccos were going to get, someone who can put up some decent numbers and platoon out there with Connor Joe. But my biggest thing with Tellez is he's just going to fall back to what he is.
Well, Rowdy Tellez, Mike, 2 seasons ago, a couple of seasons ago, he had 35 home runs.
Yeah.
So if he falls back to what he was, why don't you fall a little further and fall back to when you were successful?
Yeah.
You know,
That would be the dream, the ideal goal there. But I would take, he had the 35 home run season, a 21 home run season back in 2019, then 13 last year. Every other year, it's been his most was 8 home runs, 4 home runs, seven. It's just a very wildly inconsistent player, and that's what we're going to get out of it. We're going to get these little hot streaks, and that's about it.
now after I watched the game on Saturday night, it was back-to-back shutouts. It was a 3-0 on Friday, a 4-0 on Saturday. Coming off a game that Rowdy Tellez won with his bat, that the relievers won with their arms, and I was feeling pretty good. I thought, man, you know what? There's a good chance we're going to sweep this Twins team. We just beat them in the series
Yeah.
after beating the Dodgers in the series prior. And I was really thinking to myself, you know what? We got Jared Jones on the hill. There's no way we're going to lose tomorrow. We're going to sweep. We're going to get a day off, and then we're going to go play St. Louis, who's a really bad baseball team this year. But it didn't play out that way, Mike. We lose Sunday's game 11-5.
Yeah.
Now the play that we lost on ultimately. Now what happened was this game was, I believe, 4-4, 5-5, and the game ended up going to the ninth inning. Then it went to extra innings, and they managed to score 7 runs in the top of the 10th inning. But if you would rewind and go to earlier in the game, when there was a pitch that was thrown by the Pirates, the ball hits the batter's bat. However, the glove was in between the batter's bat and the umpire's face. So the umpire thought that the ball hit the glove and bounced off the glove and took off. But what happened in reality was, and they showed it 150 times, there's no two ways about it, the ball hits the bat, bounces out of the way, 2-run scores, and that ultimately ties the game, that ultimately allows the teams to go to extra innings, that ultimately allows the Twins to score 7 runs in the 10th inning. Now, you take that one play away, and again, you know, people complain about refereeing all the time, but there's no more black and white than this. You watch this play, the ball clearly hits the bat. However, you can't review this type of play. You know,
it should be reviewable. Like
absolutely.
just about everything else is reviewable. A play like that at the plate, that should be a reviewable play.
It's unbelievable that it's not. It's unbelievable that you can't look up at the screen and see it hits the bat and says, you know what, we messed up. Let's make this right.
Yeah,
because we want to make, they want to make everything right. They want to make sure they do everything to a T. They got, but yet you can't take a simple play where the ball hits the bat and it's a foul ball and bounces so far that 2-run score that tie the game, that ultimately leads to the game going to extras, that ultimately leads to, again, them scoring 7 runs in the top of the 10th. The game should have been won beforehand. What's Derpy? Derpy's on here saying something breaking news. I just came in to stop by real quick to say breaking news. Steelers extended Tomlin to 3-0. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we see that.
There's like clockwork though with the Steelers. It's about the time it happens.
So yesterday the Pirates lose 11-5. Jared Jones goes 5 innings, gives up 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks. He has 3 Ks. Nicholas, Brohl, Stratton, and Chapman, they come in for a combined 4 innings pitched, giving up 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 1 K. And then finally, this is where it all fell through. Heller comes in. Heller, Heller. He's the Bizarro World Keller. Mitch Keller, our starter. Heller comes in. He throws 1 inning, gives up 5 runs. No, gives up 5 hits, gives up 6 runs, 6 earned runs.
Yeah.
A walk, 2 strikeouts. Against the Dodgers, he threw a game where he threw for 2/3 of an inning, gave up 4 hits, 5 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Heller got to go. Heller got to go. For one, listen, it shouldn't even got this far, but for 2, he's one of the people in the bullpen that I'm constantly bitching about, saying this bullpen isn't any good.
He's terrible.
Pick the weeds out and get rid of the weeds. There are some
Yeah.
good ones in there sprinkled, but there's a lot of weeds. You got to get rid of them weeds. They are losing game after game after game. Again, Sunday, 1 inning pitched, 5 hits, 6 earned runs, a walk and 2 Ks. And that last game against the Dodgers, point two-thirds of an inning, 4 hits, 5 runs, and
Like
0 strikeouts.
a 49.5 ERA
49.5. And look at this.
and 2 innings pitched this year.
And Mike, in both of those games, he's given up more runs than he gave up hits.
Yeah.
In those 2 games, he's given up 9 hits and he's given up 11 runs.
He's pitched in his career 52 innings and has given up 28 earned runs. How are you still a major league pitcher at this point?
And how are you still a major league coach if you allow this to continue?
Yes.
Bruh, 10th inning, top of the 10th, the guy starts letting I mean, come on, he let up 6-7 runs in the inning. Get his ass out of there at some point, because here's the thing, your team still has a chance. They still come up at the bottom of the inning. But what are you going to do? You're going to let him get buried because this dude can't get a guy out?
It's comical. Like, just looking at his stat line throughout his career, he should not be a major league pitcher. I don't get it. Like, if you want to look at like the advanced metrics, the WAR, the win against replacement, he's a negative 1.1. That means when he comes in this year, we lose. There's a game, you're just going to lose with this guy.
I'm pretty sure those 2 games that he was in, Mike, were the 2 games that we lost in the past 2 series.
I believe so. Yeah, he is a terrible pitcher, and if we don't have anyone in the system better than this guy, come on now.
I have
there
a
has
solution.
To be someone
though.
better.
I have a solution. You have Gonzalez, not Nick, but Marco. You have Martin Perez, and you also have Quinn Priester, all injured.
Yeah.
Once these 3 guys come back, you get one of the lefties, either Gonzalez or Perez. You stick them in the 5 spot in the rotation, and then you drop Priester and the other lefty back into the bullpen.
Yeah.
Because now you have 2 starting, quality type pitchers. Put them in the bullpen to strengthen the bullpen. Get your rotation rounded out, and then go from there. That way you can start, like I said, you can start weeding out the what's this guy, Heller? Mike Heller.
Yeah, Heller. Yeah.
He's got to go. Come on, man. At the end of the season, and look at us. Look at us. We're still a half game out of the wild card. Now, there are 3 wild card games. We are half game out of the very last one. But nonetheless, we're within a half game of every team in the division except for Milwaukee. Our division looks like this. Milwaukee's still at the top. Chicago, Cincinnati, St. Louis, all 6.5 out. Pirates, 7 out. Just yesterday before the game started, we were in second place. So those 4 teams are going to go back and forth with, who's in what place, because it's all so close. But here are who they have coming up this week. That's going to help, I think. Pirates, they do travel to St. Louis. They got Paul Skeens on the hill tomorrow. Cincinnati, they play Cleveland. Now, Cleveland, they got a lot going on over there. They got probably like the 3rd or 4th best record in the whole league. Chicago's going to Tampa Bay.
Help us out, Cleveland. Come on.
Who isn't Tampa Bay isn't what they were last year, but I'm okay. I'm okay with Chicago going down there, playing down there. They got the weird ceiling and the all that stuff going on. They had trouble with last year catching balls. And then the Brewers, they host the Toronto Blue Jays, who we just got our asses beat by, who I don't think is that great of a team, but I think they are capable of winning some games. So if Toronto could come in and win a game or 2 against Milwaukee, I think that's going to be big. But Mike, you did have, I
was going to say, it's set up for us to make up some ground in the division.
And the thing is, we're still lucky that we're still hanging in there, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 100 games. It's a little less than 100 games now, but you know what? You have played 62. You have 100 left. You have a lot of time, especially if you're getting hot. And one thing about Mitch Keller, Mike, he has now 6 wins in a row.
Yes.
6 of his 8 wins on the season, and there's only 2 pitchers ahead of him with 9 or 10 wins in all of Major League.
Yeah,
so
he's turned it around from early struggles to this is like the Mitch Keller we saw last year headed into the All-Star break.
Yeah,
and that's what you need, because then Skeens has been steady Eddie since he came up. Jones, he's starting to taper off a little bit, but I think he had a short rest before his start yesterday. So get him back in his normal spot. I think he'll be back. Now, like we said, man, those top three, if Falter's playing well, get one of these other guys back, they're getting they can set themselves up and these next two series win these two because we've been talking about that. That's what we did against the Dodgers and Twins. Yeah, you'd like to sweep, but guess what? You're winning series. You just keep winning, and you're going to be moving up and up the standings. And before you know it, we will be in that wild card spot.
Yesterday, the guys with 2 hits in the lineup were Rowdy Tellez, Nick Gonzalez, and O'Neill Cruz. The people with 1 hits in the game yesterday were Connor Joe, Brian Reynolds, Andrew McCutcheon, who played. They had him playing right field. I guess they were giving some guys breaks how they do on Sunday, which I just hate the idea of it being like a thing to make sure a lot of guys get a break on Sunday because they're off today. And then I think they're off after St. Louis before they start the next series.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that. You got to give all the guys off on Sunday. I think it's one of the stupidest things ever. But anyway, yesterday was the Michael Keaton was in the house. The Batman was there. There was every reason for us to be able to sweep the Minnesota Twins. Jones goes out.
The vendor throwing peanuts could do better.
The pitchers did okay, I guess, all the way up to that 10th inning. Batters did okay. Guys are hitting. They're starting to seem like they're showing signs of getting hot.
Yeah,
they're off today. Next game is game 1 of 3 at St. Louis tomorrow at 7:45. These are your probables for the weekend, guys, or for this upcoming series. Paul Skeens with a 3-0 record, a 3 ERA, and 38 strikeouts going up against Miles McColas, maybe. He got a 4.6 or a 4 and 6 record of 5.32 ERA, 53 strikeouts on the season. And the next 2 games of the St. Louis series look like this. Bailey Falter is going to be versus Sonny Gray, and then Mitch Keller against Lance Lynn. So I like Skeens, Falter, Keller. I think I think St. Louis got their work cut out for them, Mike.
Yeah, because they're all pitching really well right now. It's gonna be a good matchup. We need to win these games. Take 2 out of 3 against these guys. That's all you have to do. Just keep taking 2 out of 3. I'm not, I don't expect this team to sweep, but the way they're playing right now, I expect them to win more series than not.
Things are set up for them. And if you look down the schedule all the way up to the All-Star break, there's a lot of winnable games leading up until I think a month from maybe today, I think July 10th or 15th or one of them days are going to be the All-Star break. But they have a lot of winnable games between now and them. And I think that this St. Louis game, I don't care that they're going up the division a little bit. I still don't think that this is a really good team. So if we could show up and Paul Skeens could go out and do some things and this team could come out and hit the ball a little bit, I think they got a very good chance against St. Louis. And you know what? Right now, we're sitting at 31 and 34. It feels like it's taking forever to get back up to 500, but we dropped down pretty far there for a while. We just wasn't winning games.
Oh, yeah.
So to only be just yesterday before the loss, only 2 games under 500, which now we're 3, again, 31 and 34. You got to like where we're at this particular point after what we've seen so far from this team.
Yeah, we had that 5-game losing streak, a 6-game losing streak. So that hurt right there. But go through the rest of the season, man. They've been pulling out series wins and need to do that. And like you said, looking ahead, even this Atlanta series coming up in the end of the month does not scare me. We took 2 out of 3 against them already this year.
Yeah.
And St. Louis, Colorado, Cincy, Tampa Bay, none of those really scare me.
No, those are not good teams.
No. And the way that the Pirates offense, if I read correctly, it's been one of the best offenses since Paul Skeens has been called up. Like the bats have come alive since he came up. And if that offensive output could keep going and the pitching, it's just, especially the top 3 keep going the way they are, look out. I could see a potential playoff berth and a playoff victory, at least one series.
So I talked about Jared Jones yesterday, and then I talked about the bullpen game the day before. On Friday night, the Mitch Keller start, the 3-0 win. Mitch Keller goes 6 innings, gives up 7 hits, no earned runs, another Another scoreless outing by Mitch Keller. Only gives up 2 walks, has 8 strikeouts. David Bednar's been able to collect 13 and 14 saves up to Saturday night. They didn't throw him last night, but things are looking better, and they need to continue to go this way. That's the concern. I think that we have decent players. It's just how long could they play good ball?
Yeah, can they keep it going? And we saw it last year, that good stretch of winning, and then they collapsed.
It seems
And
to me like
that's the thing with this team, man, is the consistency.
and then Tellez comes out, and yeah, I guess like that day, one of the first days he started doing really well. He said I'm trying. He goes,
Yeah.
I'm trying to make these fans proud. He goes, I'm working my ass off.
You can see that he, like you said the other day,
Yeah.
he's like that. He's a likable guy. Wants to
He
be
is.
liked, wants to do well, but you stick your foot in your mouth one time,
Yeah.
where the fans
And
are
it wasn't even on his own behalf. It was for
I
somebody
know,
else,
yeah. And I think that's what rubbed me wrong, was like, Bednar's been here. Bednar's a big boy. He can take the heat. You didn't have to do that.
Right.
I understand, you want to, you're the new guy, you want to stick up for your teammates.
Right.
You shouldn't have done, if he didn't do that, there wouldn't be this as much hatred that we have towards him.
You know what's so funny?
But it was nice to see he got the curtain call.
Nobody was booing these guys until we started talking about it. I'm going to be honest with you. And whether it's from us or not, I don't know. But you know what? There was not booing these guys until we started saying, you know what? Boo these guys. It's okay to boo them.
It's okay.
You need to boo these guys to let them know that you're dissatisfied with what they're doing and to make things better.
Yeah, that there's a standard of expectations.
But it was so bizarre, Mike, because it was right around that time that we just started saying it's okay. Boo. They just started booing the shit out of these guys. Yeah. So
you know what? I'll take credit for it.
I'll take credit.
I think we should. We're the first to criticize and the first to say job well done.
Exactly, that's it. Also, Mike, he met that Xander kid. Apparently, after he met him, like I think he's like disabled or something, but it like changed his whole view. And then like ever since then, he started like doing real great. And so I don't know. Keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on Rowdy Tellez. I've been all aboard getting rid of him all season.
Yeah.
But he did meet his little friend Xander, and things turned around for him. So, Mike, if this dude
keeps
playing like this, I'm cool with it, man.
You start doing a bunch of make-a-wishes like John Cena
did,
and you're going on a tear. Whatever, athletes are superstitious. So if I'm Rowdy Tellez, like, hey guys, sign me up for anything to do with kids.
Yeah.
Anyone in need, anyone needs, yeah. I'm not trying to be dick here, but if it's working, don't stop it, bro. Because you do something good, you feel good, you're going to play good. It's all about the mindset.
That's a good idea about those Tums. Especially if the Steelers are going to be playing, because I'm going to be 10 times more nervy and gassy than I already am.
I can't watch a football game with you. I'm afraid to light a match next to you during the Steeler game.
But I do got to say, guys, it is only 90 days. 90 days. Yes, 90 days. I said.
DJ Watt days, baby.
NFL football season starts. That's right. And it's time to talk a little bit about them Steelers, baby. Yeah.
Whoa.
Mike, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the OTAs did wrap up. Mandatory minicamp is this week. Things are moving forward. Just not too long ago, we were sitting there the day after Super Bowl saying, you know what? I just can't wait for the draft. Oh, I just can't wait till it gets to this day. I'm like, we're 90 days out. We are mandatory mini camp. A lot of good things, Mike. Jalen Warren says this. He's focused on this going to the Super Bowl. He is so focused on winning and making this team successful. He's not even worried about his contract extension. I like this. Yes. I like this mentality. And even if it's not your mentality, it's the right thing to say.
You got to say it. Yeah, absolutely.
Mike, couple other things. Cam Sutton, he does sign a 1-year, $1.21 million contract. And the biggest story that I heard on top of Derpy telling us about Mike Tomlin's extension is this. I saw three out of nowhere, 3 posts today out of nowhere that I haven't seen in weeks, that the Steelers are still actively trying to pursue Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Even with the rising cost of number 1 wide receivers, we're still going to go after Brandon Ayuk. How are you going to pay him and George Pickens at the same time?
You got to listen. That's what you got to do. You got to cut the dead weight like Cam Hayward. This guy is dead weight. And if you want to get that guy, go get him, spend the money and make him yours. Keep him here for X amount of years. And you're going to have that guy just as you would have your franchise this, your franchise that, you know what? If you pay a little bit more money out to have a guy here to be your franchise receiver and that works, you know what? Fantastic. But I got to tell you, the guy on the other side of the ball is sucking up way too much money for
Yeah.
not enough production. And you know what? I think this is ultimately is going to be what screws us in the end when we're trying to put this last piece into place. Because, Mike, let me give you some numbers that I think is going to blow your mind.
Yes.
Last year, Deontay Johnson, we didn't think they had a great year, but he managed to catch 51 passes for 717 yards and 5 touchdowns. His replacements, Scotty Miller, Quez Watkins, and Van Jefferson, did this combined 46 catches to DJ's 51, 512 yards to DJ's 717, 3 touchdowns combined to DJ's 5 touchdowns. So as well, or lack thereof, not playing well, that a lot of people thought DJ did. These 3 guys that we brought in combined aren't even close to the numbers that DJ brought in, and he didn't even have that great of a season. I'm worried. I'm concerned. I'm all upon. Listen, any of these guys at this point, of course you want an Ayuk or you want somebody of this nature, but if you have to drop down to a Cortland Sutton or I'm game. Yeah. I'm game at this point.
For me, I think Cortland Sutton is the play. That guy right there would be the one, because you can fit him in under the cap. Much easy, extension. I don't know his exact contract. I was just looking at Cam. Like, I think if they would release Cam, he would count $6.4 million against the cap, but his cap hit overall is $22 million. So you're getting a savings there. And here's why, I was against that big contract to Alex Highsmith. Because you can't go and get receivers. Same thing with Minka. Yeah, I like Minka. He's helped us win some games, but again, another guy we haven't won a playoff game with is Minka. That's cap hit is $21 million. Cam's 22. Alex Highsmith right now is 6.9, but that's going to go up in the future. You can't get a wide receiver, a true number one, when you have all that money tied up in those defensive guys that really haven't won you anything. But for me, I think Sutton would be the guy.
And I would I'd be fine with that.
Yeah,
I think best case scenario is a Brandon Ayuk, but if you get a Cortland Sutton, I'd be totally fine.
Right now he's 17 mil against the cap, but you can make that work.
And he still has, and he's better than these guys that we got.
Yeah, and he's still under contract next year too. So you have him for this year and next year, and then potentially in 2026 he becomes a free agent. But at that point he's 31. If you're trying to win now, he would be the guy, and that way you don't blow up your cap situation by having to give him a $30 million contract like Ayuk's going to want.
I like Steeler Freak's comment. I have weed that will slow Ryan down a few RPMs during the game. I was wondering where we were going to find it out when we were out there. I didn't want to go around asking strangers.
Yeah. And look, real quick, Sutton had 59 catches last year, 700 yards, 10 touchdowns. So, boom, that replaces Deontay Johnson right there. And
he's got chemistry with our starting quarterback. That goes.
He even said in the media the other day, he said, Russ got a bad deal out here in Denver. I think Russ's first year in Denver, everything was said about him was legitimate. Last year, I thought he played a whole hell of a lot better than people gave him credit for.
Speaking of Russell Wilson, tying this into baseball just a little bit, yesterday was 14 years since Russell Wilson was drafted by the Colorado Rockies. That's right back in June 2010. Russell Wilson was drafted by the Colorado Rockies. Can you imagine if he would have stayed in baseball, where we would be right now? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows who our quarterback would be right now?
Where would Seattle be right now?
Yeah. One other thing, we are going to be going into the UFL here shortly, but the former Steeler wide receiver Hakeem Butler, you remember he came here, did very little, close to nothing, spent a little time here. He ended up winning the UFL Offensive Player of the Year.
Nice.
Hakeem Butler, former Steeler, is the UFL Offensive Player of the Year. One observation I did make also that Anthony McFarland looked pretty good as well in the game last night.
I just have a feeling like guys like them, they're like that guy in baseball that's really good in the minors, can't hack it in the pros. They call them the 4A player. That's what I feel like McFarland and Hakeem Butler are. They're just too good for that league, just not good enough for the NFL. Where Hakeem Butler had chances in the NFL, he just couldn't make it.
Yeah. So I mean, here we are, guys. 90 days. We have no receipt. I think we'll get something. I got to be honest. I don't think they're going to go into the season with nothing. I think they'll pull some kind of move, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But as time
Like,
goes on, your options are getting less, and then we've seen all the names
yeah.
that came and gone since in this off season, and here we still have no one.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they pluck someone kind of like Traylon Burks out of Tennessee. He was a former number one overall pick. Hasn't really lived up to expectations. They're starting to make him do special teams work down there. But if they can get someone like him and tap into his potential that he had, that could be a steal of a trade right there, like a low round draft pick for that guy. Because that receiving core down there in Tennessee is kind of cluttered.
Yeah.
And real quick, I'm like Steelers trick. I'm looking at the Chiefs um, salary cap stuff right now. Like Mahomes is 37 million. The guards 26 million. Jawan Taylor tackles 24. Kelsey at 19. A safety at 14. Their DN at 10 million. Then after that, it's just a bunch of cheap contracts. And then
Yeah.
later on, like they have a lot of people backloaded. Like Chris Jones, his contract, he signed that new extension. It it's all that money is backloaded.
Remember early on,
Those last 2 years, it's only like a three.
remember early on, Tom Brady had Randy Moss and Corey Dillon. And then what started happening? He started being able to afford less and less, and he started
Yeah,
getting all these little white guys.
yeah,
Your Wes Welkers, your Amendolas, your Julian Edelmans, your Hogan. They're starting in Kansas City. They have Justin Watson from South Fayette right here south of Pittsburgh.
yeah. It's
You wait.
2.9 million.
You wait, Mike. This is going to be a team that's a lot like New England, especially if they continue to be
Yeah,
successful. And they are going to start. Look, I mean, at the beginning, Tyreek Hill and all these names, and they started going away. And guess what? Now you have, like you said, ample number of small contracts on this team with a few
yeah.
big names. As time goes on, it's going to turn into that same thing with the safe or with the Patriots. And if Andy Reid has the same game plan as Bill Belichick, they're going to be in decent shape for a while, Mike.
And what might hurt them this year is like you had Rasheed Rice who came on strong last year and in the playoffs in that Super Bowl. He's only like 1.4 mil against the cap, but then he goes out and gets in huge legal trouble.
Yeah.
Like they're hitting in the draft on some of their picks, so they don't have to pay that money right away. And their guys are able to start right away. But now it's like they have to be lucky, keep hitting in the draft. And I think what's going to kill them is when Travis Kelsey leaves, when he eventually retires, because my God, he draws so much attention there. You don't need that number one wide receiver. When he goes, who's going to replace him? And that's going to be the key thing right there, because you know you're going to have more money to spread around, but that's a huge weapon. So right now the cap's working in their favor the way they have contracts and
But
the
you
way
know
they've
what?
been
If
hitting on
Patrick
draft
Mahomes
picks.
is that guy, Tom
Yeah,
Brady went through plenty of years where he had receivers that, come on, you didn't know who these guys were, but yet because of him, they were still finding ways to win and win and win and win and
yeah.
win. And if he's that guy, it's going to be what it be.
Which
Mike, starting on, yeah, good.
I was going to say real quick, the next 3 years, starting 2025, his cap hit goes 66 million, 68 million, 64 million. But look for a restructure in those air and then coming up soon, because that's an insane amount of money.
As we did say, Mike, the mandatory mini camp is this week. However, Derpy did send over the training camp the other day. I'd forgotten to talk about it. Training camp starts on July 25th, 10:30 in the morning, 25th through the 30th that week. The following week, it goes from I don't know, what is this, the 31st? I don't know, but it's up, guys. If you want to see what the training camp schedule is, it is out. It has the Steelers from July 25th all the way to August 14th. They have the Friday Night Lights games up in Latrobe if you're going to make your way up there. I believe Derpy went up for something last year. He got to shake Jalen Warren's hand while he was up there. So we're going to try to get him back up there again this year. But that schedule has been released. So the training camp schedule is available if you want to check that out. But Mike, we do got to move on here a little bit. Let me go back to the board for just 1 second. I want to find out what the
Wake and bacon, flashing crash.
That's why I was thinking that. I thought, man, we go to Vegas. Can you imagine going out and asking strangers in Vegas where to buy? You don't know who you're talking to, and you'll wake up with no kidneys, no testicles. You know what I mean? Like I totally see something
That's
like
part
that.
of the adventure, baby.
So that's why I'm very, very, very happy about Steeler Freak, which makes me really, really want to get out there. So keep that in mind, Mike. Um, we do have to move on here a little bit. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they did, Mike, they drew another tie. It was 0-0, 0-0 in this game against the Charleston Battery. Their next game is against the Hartford Athletic, which is on Saturday. The Pittsburgh Passion. Now, this is one I was excited about. The women here in Pittsburgh, the professional football team, are called the Passion. Now, they Boston Renegades have been the most dominant team in
Mm-hmm.
their division, conference, whatever it is, for the longest time. We've never been able to beat them. We never been able to stand on the same field as these guys. Mike, we managed to go up there. We take a 17-0 lead. Third quarter, we're up 17-0 on this team. It was actually right up in Slippery Rock here. They played at our place. The Passion wins this game 26-21. Boston has a little bit of a comeback there toward the end of the game. 26-21 final count. Passion is now 7-0. They finish up next week with a away game in Columbus. And after they wrap up that away game in Columbus, then the playoff starts, and then they start working their way towards the Hall of Fame stadium in the championship game. Mike, they devoured everybody they played. Again, they were up
Mm-hmm.
17-0 on his Boston team. I don't know what else is out there, but I know that we're looking good.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge was Boston, like it was last
Always.
year. Oh yeah, so like when the league first started, like the Passion were the big dogs. Then Boston came along and they became the big dogs. Hopefully, it's swinging back our way. I think they take the title this year, especially the way they're playing.
I hope they
Whew.
do. I hope they do. I'd like to get up there and watch if they do make it to the championship. They have been televising their games a lot more, so that's really cool. But let me get through this, Mike. The Florida Panthers, they take a 1-0
Yep.
lead in the Stanley Cup Finals. Game one, they win 3-0. Florida Panthers over the Edmonton Oilers. Game two is tonight at 8 o'clock. Over in the NBA, the sister league, they played game two last night. The Celtics go up 2-0 in the series by winning 105-98 against my Mavericks. So my Mavericks are down, but my
Mm-hmm.
Panthers are up. Game three for the NBA game will be Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Um,
Yeah, I think I hate to say it, but I think Boston's gonna win this one.
it's looking good in their favor, but
Either
you know what?
4-0 or 4-1. It's not looking good for Dallas.
There's so much money to be made. I don't think it's going to be a 4-0. I don't think the league will let it go 4-0 if they have any kind of power, and I think they do. But you're losing out on a lot of money if you let the finals escape after 4 games. But
Yeah.
hey, that's just my opinion. Let's see how it plays out. USFL, or I'm sorry, the UFL guys, the championship games were played this weekend. The games that were played that are going to decide who plays in the UFL championship game, Mike, let me see. This would have been the USFL championship was between the Birmingham. Who was it? Birmingham beat Michigan 31-18. Birmingham had a 9 and
Yeah.
1 record. Michigan has a 7 and 3 record. That was the USFL championship. In the XFL championship was San Antonio and St. Louis. San Antonio making a big comeback from last season. I don't know if you remember, that was Hines Ward's team. They were terrible. He got canned.
Yeah.
Playing a
Yeah.
top team, the St. Louis Battlehawks. San Antonio wins this game in a good one, 25-15. Both of these teams finished their season 7 and 3. So that means your championship game at St. Louis Dome, it was already decided it's going to be at St. Louis's Dome, but it won't be St. Louis playing there. It's going to be next week. The Birmingham Stallions versus San Antonio Brahmas. This game is Sunday, 5 p.m. on Fox. This will be the last of the season of that league. So you don't catch that, it's going to be a little while until we get more football coming, another month or so, 6 weeks. But the UFL championship is settled, Mike. The Birmingham Stallions haven't lost yet. They've won both USFL championships. They are in the combined league here against the Brahmas, against the XFL team. They have a chance to go 3-0 in championship games in as many seasons, Mike.
I think they're going to pull it out. They're just been that damn good the past 2 years, and this year as well.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone stopping them.
And it's not the same guy like last year. They had that McAdoo or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
That Magoo. Remember his name was
Magoo is what it
Alex
was. Yeah.
Magoo, and he was just unstoppable. But now they're back with a different guy. They're facing
Yeah.
another black and gold team. I don't know. I just got a vibe, man. I think Birmingham's going to win this one. But again, McFarland is looking good for San Antonio. He had a 65-yard touchdown run last night. I'm excited. Again, this is gonna be the highest level of football you're gonna see for another
For a while.
6 weeks or so. So
Yeah.
I recommend
Until
enjoying
college
it.
kicks off.
Let me go to the Damar Hamlin celebrity charity game. Mike, these are the people that participated in the game on Team Blue. Damar Hamlin, Miles Sanders, Tyler Boyd, Cam Puff Johnson, DeJuan Blair, Flavor Flav, Jaden Newman, John Geiger, Dane Jackson, Hotshot Swanson, and Dion Dawkins, which I recognize most of the names. And then on the red team, Aaron Donald, Brandon Marshall, Sharif O'Neal, who is Shaq's 24-year-old, Josh Norman, Julian Newman, James Cook, Micah Hyde, Jenna Bandy, I'm sorry.
I've heard of her. I can't place.
Geno Stone, the safety was on the Ravens from Newcastle. Trey the Truth, Saron Neal, and Jason Barrera. So there was a lot of notable names up at North Allegheny on Saturday. But the most notable part was this. Damar Hamlin calls out no one other than the Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback from the crowd and says, "Get your ass out here and play." Russell Wilson comes out. He's nailing threes, apparently. And then at the end of the game, Damar Hamlin nails a three right in Russell Wilson's eye to win the game for Team Blue. Damar Hamlin takes home the win. The shot over Russell Wilson. That had to be a one hell of a,
that has been a great time.
Look at all these guys. I mean, these are a lot of the guys you see playing on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
We should have went, man. It was only 40 minutes from here. That's crazy that we didn't go.
Like, it's because we're lazy.
Oh, yeah.
And there's people. We have to interact with people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The thought of going there and interacting with people would suck. But I think actually if we were there, we would love it.
Take the megaphone up with us and cause some trouble. But I also
you could.
Also, Mike, I do want to get into Caitlin Clark here real quick because we are we're wrapping up here shortly. Mike, they play tonight, the Fever versus the Sun. They play again at 7:00. They were able to win their game on Friday night over the Mystics. They win 85-83 after Caitlin Clark gets snubbed from Team USA, and she goes out and puts up 30 points.
Yeah.
In this game, Mike, 30 points. Once they tell her that she's not on the team, I think that she's a young pup, but you know what? She's also a money cow.
Yeah.
You don't leave the money cow out. I don't care what anybody says, even if it's the Olympics, even if it's World Games, the money cow's the money cow. You can't leave that person, even if you don't expect her to be playing a lot, to contribute a lot. There's no way you leave Caitlin Clark off this roster. I don't care how jealous you are. I don't care. This chick is the money cow. This chick is going to be paving the way for a lot of these women to make more money in that league. And the fact that they're treating her like crap, it kind of sucks, man.
Yeah. Like don't get it wrong. Like the people that or the women that they picked on the team are deserving.
Absolutely.
But they haven't lost a gold medal game since '96.
But they don't nobody likes them. Nobody cares about them.
And that's
nobody gives two shits about Diana Taurasi. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I thought she's been dead for 10 years. Diana Taurasi.
Because Taurasi's a good player. Brianna Stewart's a damn good player. Aja Wilson, great players, but they weren't forcing other teams to go into bigger arenas. They weren't the ones drawing the money. Use Caitlin Clark as your, she's the golden goose. Use her, promote her everywhere, and then say, hey, you came here for Caitlin. Hey, don't forget, man, we got Brianna, we got Aja Wilson, we got, I forget her name, Brianna's teammate, the one who was doing the 3-pointers against Steph Curry. Use her and to get the people in, and once they're there, say, hey, we got this. You like this? Hey, we got that for you. You like a physical game? Go watch this person. You like a finesse game? Go watch her. You have to use her in marketing. Who cares if she's the 12th woman on the bench? You're going to win gold anyway.
You know what? When the original Dream Team back in '92 with Jordan, Bird, Magic, all them, they brought Christian Laettner on because
they had to.
Well, listen. That's what I'm saying. Because he hit the game-winning shot in the national championship that year in college for Duke. Now, that's a pretty big moment. Okay, let's get Christian later. This chick has scored more than any basketball player in the
Yeah,
history of university in this country. If anybody qualifies to be that young buck that comes up and is on this team, it's
yeah,
her. For
yeah.
two, they're not going to play game 7 defense on her like they do in the
Exactly,
WNBA. That's
exactly.
not going to happen. She's going to get
Because
opportunities.
now,
She's going to get looks. She's going to get
yeah,
her shots. And Mike, even with that being said, she still managed to put up 30 points again the other
yeah,
night with her
yeah,
being under the
yeah,
microscope. You know,
yeah. Because now on this team, she's surrounded by like great players to where when she does facilitate the ball, they're making the shot. They're not missing the open layups like her teammates are. And what better way to showcase how great she is by surrounding her with other great players? And guess what? New fans get to learn who these players are too.
yeah.
It's it
Maybe
would be
your
like
league's
team. It would be
failing.
like Team Canada not taking Sidney Crosby when he was first eligible. You take the star power so to help grow your league. Even though the Olympics, it's not about growing your league and your sport. You want to win gold, but when you haven't lost, since '96, you can afford one roster spot for someone who's going to bring more
So do you
eyeballs.
and I agree, Mike? Do you and I both agree that she got snubbed? Should she be on this
And
team?
that's if I want to go by strictly the way that they're playing and everything, no. But as a star power, yes. So it's
That's what it's all about. That's what sports are about
yeah,
anymore.
that's what
Star
sports are
power.
about. Sports, even the Olympics is all about growing. The NHL sends their players to help grow the game. It's not about, oh, we're here to win. It's like, no, we're here to grow the game. We're using this to grow the game. That's what the WNBA should be doing with this, is using her to grow the game, using the Olympics to
One
grow the
more
game.
time. I'm going to say it one more time, then I'm going to move on from it. She scored more points than anybody, man or
Yeah,
woman,
yeah,
in the college ranks in the history of this
yeah.
country playing basketball.
People want
She
to see that.
deserves to be on this team
Yeah,
to some capacity. Again, if it's not for the fact that she is the golden goose, it's because she's apparently good enough. She scored more points than anybody
yeah,
ever in the history of
yeah.
this country. The
It's just like these niche sports like the WNBA and the NHL, they make the stupidest decisions because they
yes,
don't want to upset the people who are already there.
you
You
know,
can
and
honor what they did and how they've helped grow the sport, but this is someone who's going to take it up to the next level, who's going to
the black
exponentially
lesbian
increase.
league isn't working. The black lesbian league is failing miserably. The black lesbian league has been failing for 28 years. I just got to say, if you have a golden goose, you take advantage. And if they don't,
Yeah,
that's their stupid fault. And then once the
yeah,
WNBA falls, you're going to be able to point to a specific thing and say, if you would have done this, which was an obvious move, I think by
yeah,
most people's standard, you
yeah,
would have been off. You would have been
yeah.
doing a lot
Like
better.
like
Go ahead,
her
scare
on.
her out of your league. Scare her to go play in the big three with Ice Cube. Hey,
Yeah,
watch how many people care about the WNBA. Mike, let me
it's
tell you
just
this real quick.
stupid.
Friday night when they played the Mystics, they got that win, the 85-83 win. The ladies for the Indiana Fever, they drew a crowd of
Yes.
20,333 fans. Do you know that the NBA Finals Game 1 drew
Yeah.
19,156 fans?
Yeah.
That's less in
Yeah.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals than what Caitlin Clark was able to
Yeah.
draw to her little 3-9
Yeah.
WNBA basketball team.
And
Go ahead, let her
yeah.
get away.
Yeah. And look at the guys on that were out on the court in game one. Kyrie Irving, Luca, Porzingis came back. You have some really good players, some damn good players. And Caitlin Clark outdraws them.
Mike Caitlin Clark also ties
She's
Crystal
probably outdrawing
Robinson.
the NHL right now.
I know.
She did because the Panthers game wasn't sold out. That game one was not sold out.
She tied Crystal Robinson for the WNBA rookie record in threes in a game. She had
Yeah.
seven threes in that particular game on Friday. Again, shame on you, WNBA. I don't know if it's pride. I don't know if it's greed. I don't know if it's whatever it is. You guys
It
got it wrong. You
it's
got to you
stupid.
you got to utilize this person. She is a person, and you know what? You got to utilize her because that's where the
Yeah.
money's at right now. And I think you got to be blind not to see it.
Yeah, use her to, like I said, Aja Wilson. Then you got Kalea Cooper. She's also up there in scoring. You have all these damn good women players that people don't know because you're a niche sport. Use her.
You know that most people don't even know or care that Brittany Griner is on the USA team.
No, yeah,
Nobody cares,
no one cares. No, and she made national news,
right?
and no one cares. Like
I got a
like the
theory about
WNBA, the WNBA and the NHL are competing to see who can do the most stupid marketing.
I'm going to give you one more thing about the WNBA, and then we do have to move on. We are getting close to the end here. My theory is this about the WNBA is why it will never be successful. When you spend your money to go watch professionals play ball, whether it be basketball, whether it be baseball, football, hockey, whatever it may be, you go to watch guys that are and gals that are so talented, they're getting paid a lot of money to do what it is that they're doing, and it's something that you can't do. When you go to watch an NBA game, guess what? I'm not a 7-foot guy who could dunk a basketball and hit 3-pointers and do this and that and this and that. You pay because these people are professionals. When you go to a WNBA game or you pay or you watch one, you're not seeing things that can't be done by the average person. You're seeing people miss layups right underneath the backboard. You're seeing people get rejected by the rim on simple layups.
Yeah.
You're seeing a sport where the highlight of it is dunking a basketball in the counter, in the counter league, they can't dunk a basketball because they refuse to say, you know what, drop the rim down to 9 feet so we could, Mike, it's
that's
they don't do anything that everybody else can't do. I'm certain that there's a lot of people that was on my high school basketball team that could probably keep up with a lot of these professional women basketball players. I'm just saying, when that's what it comes down to, what's going to be the incentive for you to spend money? These people aren't anything more than anybody else that is around and about. I don't know where I'm wrong on this.
It's a tough game to watch. And like you said, if that rim was lower, my God, because some of these women would be jamming on that thing. And I would be like, fuck yeah, I want to watch that. Like, I understand from a pride point, oh, I can do it. That not keep it where it is now. We're just as good as I'm. No, lower it down, make it more exciting. And that would draw the
they eyeballs. Don't want to be more successful, Mike. They do what they're doing.
When it comes down to the Olympics, dude, I love women's track and field because I know a lot of those women are running a whole hell of a lot faster than a lot of men who didn't make the men's national team too. So they're kicking ass. I love watching that. Women's basketball is rough. I can watch women's hockey, women's soccer. I can watch, but
to making the league better.
No,
they're realistically
in the
not
NHL
committed to making the league better.
NHL, make your nets wider because goalie pads have gotten so bigger. Scoring is going to go up like it was in the 80s. And guess what? People might watch it more too. Both leagues do stupid shit that they don't want to grow their sport.
Why don't you go and tell everybody about the website, man?
The2dumyinzers.com. I forgot what I was going to say. The2dumyinzers.com. Over there, we got everything you need for 2 Dumb Yinzers, our social medias. We got the blog over there. Everything you need is over there. The2dumyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. A lot of cool things over there. www.the2dumyinzers.com. Exactly. It is www.the2dumyinzers.com. Right. Why do they use a smaller ball? Why don't they complain about the ball? Brian makes a great point on the board. He says the women's basketball is smaller for a reason. Why not lower the rims?
Yeah, because their hands are smaller, make their rims smaller. And my God, I want to watch some of these women jam because I think they could.
I do absolutely.
Because especially their low post game is very physical. And I just want to see them go and slam down like you saw in the 80s with those big power forwards, just almost breaking the rim every time.
All right, Mike, so it's time. It is time for the trivia question of the day. Put your thinking caps on, everybody. Everybody on the board, play along as well if you wish. This is going to be an interesting question. Something I didn't even realize. I found out kind of sort of on accident over the weekend, and I looked into it, and it's really kind of a surprise to me. But, Mike, this is going to be a question about left-handers in sports. Left-handers in sports. Here we go. Question of the day. The last left-handed catcher in the major leagues. You could either give me one of the three answers to be correct.
Oh, God.
Last left-handed catcher to play in the major leagues. You could either tell me the year, the name of the player, or the name of the team. And you will be right, and I'll give you the rest of it. But this is going to be an interesting question. You don't think about this. You never see left-handed second baseman, left-handed shortstops, left-handed third baseman, and left-handed catchers. They just don't exist anymore.
No.
I want to know. My question today is this. The last left-handed catcher in the majors. Can you give me the year or the name or the team that he played on? Will be correct because it is kind of a complicated question. Mike, you want to take any stabs at what year you may think that the last left-handed catcher played in the majors? Or if you know the name or the team, that's fine too. But it's been a while. Go ahead and think it over. Think it over. We got we're live 5 days a week right here on the Two Dum Yinzers, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The live brand new show that we do every day. We take and we upload it in podcast form over on Spotify at 8 o'clock p.m. If you don't have a chance to watch the show, maybe you just rather listen to the show, you can always put your earbuds in, put it in the car, wherever you're at, and catch it in podcast form after 8 o'clock every day. Go check it out. All right, gentlemen, the question of the day is this. The last left-handed catcher to play in the majors was who, when, and for what team? All you have to do is give me one of them just because it's a lot of different information. Mike, you want to take a stab at it?
Let's go. Say the Baltimore Orioles. Easy for me to say.
Okay. Is that the you want to take any other guesses, or is that what would be like what your guess is? You want to try a year?
1987.
All right. Ryan on the board says Pirates. Mike says the Orioles, 1987. The question of the day is the last left-handed catcher to play in the majors was who, when, and where? Brian says the Pirates. Mike says the Orioles, 1987. The answer is, guys, it was Benny DiStefano. You may recognize the name. He's Brian also says in the 80s. Benny DiStefano. You might recognize that name because he was a Pirate. And the last left-handed catcher to play in the majors was Benny DiStefano for the Pirates in 1989. So much on the year. Brian, you got the team.
And Benny you got the decade.
What's that?
And the decade. And the decade.
Hey, you get too many choices with that. It could have been any year. So Benny DiStefano, guys, 1989 for the Pirates was the very last left-handed catcher to play.
Wow.
You don't really think of it. I haven't acknowledged, Mike, in 30 years that there hasn't been somebody left-handed playing one of those four positions.
Yeah.
They just don't play them. They play first base, they pitch, they play outfield. That's it.
Yeah.
Kind of mind-blowing, huh?
It is too. Like I saw that stat over the weekend too, and I read it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and then moved right on about it. I should have known this was something right up your alley, so obscure. It would have been the question.
That's a good one. I like that. That's
it is a good one.
Very rare. Of course, it's just because of the angle. You have to turn your whole body to throw, and very interesting. Mike, anything before we get ready to wrap it up?
I got nothing. I just scrolling Twitter right now. Nothing's really catching my eye. Nothing has caught my eye for a while now to bring up. So I got nothing other than thanks for watching the show, everyone. I can't wait for Steelers season. I can't wait to read all the great articles about Mike Tomlin's contract extension.
Yeah,
that everyone knew was coming. They're all shocked and outraged by.
I do want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us and checking us out. And thank you, everybody on the board. Always keep things interesting. We certainly wouldn't do it without you. We appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much. I'm just going to go over what we have going on here today, guys. The NBA Finals is now the next game. Game 3 will be on Wednesday. However, Game 2 of the NHL Finals tonight, Florida's up 1-0 in that series. In the UFL, the championship game is this coming weekend. The Hounds back at it against Hartford this weekend. The Passion playing their last game on the road against Columbus. Pirates are off tonight. They start a series against St. Louis in St. Louis tomorrow. It'll be a mustache day tomorrow, guys. So be prepared for that. Steelers just 90 days away from the NFL starting. And once again, everybody, Surrey Cruz, the daughter of Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, will be going to Carnegie Mellon University right here in Pittsburgh. I was a bit surprised. Mike, not surprised as much as I was, but I think it's pretty cool nonetheless. Michael Keaton was in town over the weekend watching his home team, and you know how we do. You know how we do, black and yellow.
I do have something real quick. Should I, in honor of Paul Skeens,
yes, please,
just rock a mustache?
Yes, Brian actually did that too. Brian got the Paul Skeens mustache, and if you do it, I might end up doing it too.
Like I might shave my whole head and just have the mustache.
You gotta have that hang mouth like he has too. You always get that. Yeah. But I also do want to say thank you to Brian, Derpy, John, everybody on the board. John, I am looking forward to that, man. I'm sure I'll still get kidnapped and get my kidney taken, even if it is that simple to do when we get down there. But we'll talk about that a little closer to October. Mike, anything else before we roll?
I got nothing.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for checking us out. We'll be back tomorrow, Same time to do it all over again. For Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two Dum Yinzers. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.